section 5-2, using intercepts. What I think would work best here for writing things down is to go ahead and use page 66 from the Know It notes, but be prepared to also have a piece of graph paper when we get to graphing using the intercept. So if you need to pause it and go find that graph paper, now's a good time to do that. Now that you're back, you're going to write down the definitions for y-intercept and x-intercept up there near the top of page 66 in your Know It notes. And the y-intercept is the y-coordinate of any point where a graph crosses the y-axis. Now with linear equations, that's just going to be one place, but when we get to quadratics, you know, there's the possibility it could, well, not for y. For y, it'll still just be once, but for x, it could be twice. The ordered pair will be 0, comma, y. So we know that the x-coordinate is 0. The y-coordinate could be anything. And the x-coordinate has to be 0 because it's got to be somewhere along that y-axis. It can't be on either side of it. The x-intercept is the x-coordinate of the point where the graph crosses the x-axis. And its ordered pair will be some number plugged in for x, comma, 0, meaning it's not anywhere above or below. It's just right there on the x-axis. Okay. So the first easy cheesy ones here are to just use the graph to find the x and y axes. So all you're looking for is those places where the line crosses the axis. Just make sure that you get them straight, which one's which. The x-intercept is where we cross the x-axis, so that's right here. It's at -2. You can write just -2, or you can write the ordered pair, which would be -2, comma, 0. If you're going to write the ordered pair, be sure that you write it accurately. The y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis, and I guess it probably would have been nice of me to color code it, but it's a little late now, and it's at 1, right? Or you can write its ordered pair, which is 0, comma, 1. That's all you have to do there. Just tell me where the intercepts are. And you could sketch that if you'd like. You don't have to graph it on graph paper, or you can just, you know, kind of do these two where we're picking them off the graph without jotting them down. Okay, so same thing here. If you'd like to sketch it, go ahead and sketch it quickly. Otherwise, you can just do it with me. Or okay, so x-intercept, fill in mentally. Okay, y-intercept, fill it in mentally. So our x-intercept is over here at -2 again. Y-intercept, 1, 2, 3. Or ordered pair form, over -2 up 0, over 0 up 3. Now those ones are the best ones where you just pick them off the graph, but you know that that's not going to be the reality for most of them, because most of them, they're going to give you an equation. Let me double check that I didn't skip one. Okay. Woo, now I did. Okay. To find the x and y intercepts from an equation, we have to plug in a 0 for one of the two variables. I like to sometimes think of this as a teeny t chart. And let me see, I think I'll write the teeny t right in the middle. You should be jotting down the equation. You don't need any graph for this. Okay. And my teeny t looks like this. The x-intercept is when y is 0. And the y-intercept is when x is 0. So I'm going to plug in 0 for y, just like we did here, to get x. And then, after I'm done with that, I'm going to plug in 0 for x, and I'm going to find y. And that'll give me my two intercepts. It's going to tell me where the line crosses the x and y axis. So I've already got that written in. 5x minus 2y equals 10. Yes, you really have to solve the equation twice. So we plug in 0, and that means this disappears, and we get 5x's equal 10. So x equals 2, which means the x-intercept is at 2, comma, 0. And then I do the y-intercept. So for y, we have 0 plugged in, which makes the x term disappear. And notice we're left with -2y, not positive. Zip zap if that helps you see it better. And so y equals negative 5. So then it is 0, comma, negative 5 for my y-intercept. And I plug in negative 5 there if I were to write it in my teeny t chart. And now I could graph it. Okay, that's going to be the next step. Right now we're just finding them. We don't have to graph them yet. So the x-intercept is at 2. The y-intercept is at 5. Let's try one more. You try it on your own. Go ahead and write the equation down once it flips to the next slide. It's being slow. And once again, I think it's really helpful just to do the teeny t. So something, 0, 0, something. Right? And that gives you the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So pause it and come back in a second. You're back. To do the x-intercept, I'm going to plug in 0 for y. And so I have negative 3x equals 30. X equals negative 10. So that's the x-intercept. It's at negative 10, comma, 0. Okay. Y-intercept, let's do it over here. We have negative 3 times 0. We're plugging in 0 for x, plus 5 times y equals 30. And so 5y equals 30, y equals 6. So my y-intercept would be 0, comma, 6. That's all there is to it in terms of figuring out what they are. Once you have that information, then really to graph a line, all you need is 2 ordered pairs. 2 points make a straight line. 3 points is safer, but the x and y intercepts are usually pretty easy to find. So we can actually get away with just having 2 points and connecting them with a line. And those 2 points can be the intercepts. So now you need your graph paper, because we're going to find the x and y intercepts, and then we're going to graph them if it will switch to the next page. There we go. So this time it says use the intercepts to graph the line given by the equation 3x minus 7y equals 21. So I'm making my teeny t, something 0, 0, something, and then I'm going to graph that information. So I plugged in my 0, and 3x equals 21, so x equals 7. So 7 comma 0, and I plugged in 0 for x, and negative 7y equals 21, so y equals negative 3. Excuse me. Sketch out a coordinate plane. It needs to go, right, our intercepts were 7 comma 0 and 0 comma negative 3. And this is a sort of a not so fabulous coordinate plane here, missing a few pieces like arrows, tips at the ends there, and labels. And telling us how we're going to count. I'm going to count by 5s. I'm going to count by 1s, but I'm going to mark the 5s so I know where they are. And now I'm going to mark my 2 points. 7 comma 0. So 5, 6, 7 comma 0. And 0, negative 3. And then I'm going to connect them with a line. Let's see if I can use the line tool here and make it work. It's pretty good. A little off in terms of going through my first point, but pretty good. Let's see if I have my pen back. Oh, good. And that's it. 2 points, straight line with a ruler, and you're done. How much easier is that than finding 5 points and graphing all 5? So much nicer. Let's do one more together really quickly, and then we'll be out of here. This time we're going to graph the equation y equals negative x plus 4. It is easiest to find the intercepts when the equation is in standard form. Oh yeah, standard form. Maybe that's why we learned it. Aha! Suddenly all is becoming clear. So we add x to both sides, and we get x plus y equals 4. We're going to find the intercepts. This equation is really easy for finding intercepts. Something 0, 0, something. So when we plug in y is 0, x equals 4. And we plug in x equals 0, y equals 4. How did I do it so fast? Well, I actually took my hand and I just covered up the y with when I needed to solve for x. And then when I wanted to put x in as 0, I covered up the x, and I got y equals 4. So that's another kind of nifty way to do it, especially when the equation's easy. And now I'm going to go to my graph. I think I have one on the next page. You can be sketching a coordinate plane also. And x, y. Your graph doesn't need to be nearly this big. Really, it only needs to go out about 5 or 6 because we're just going to 4 in either direction. Right? We have the points 4, 0 and 0, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We still need to mark off what we count by. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And our points go at 4, 0 and 0, 4. And then we take our ruler and we draw a nice straight line through our points. And then we put arrow tips on, and we're done. That's it. That's all there is to intercepts, guys. It is pretty basic. And we're going to save the word problem for when you get back here tomorrow. So that's it.